Hi everyone, it's Stacy from Stacy Cakes with another tutorial for you. Today we're going to learn how to create a wood grain pattern on fondant. Before we get started, if there's a technique or tutorial you'd like to see, please do comment below because I do want to make things that you need to learn. So we're going to start covering our board with vodka. And the reason we use vodka is because water stays wet far too long. Vodka, the alcohol actually evaporates away, so you get the stickiness and then it dries almost instantly. So that's why we use vodka. Then we're going to take our rolled fondant and place it over the board. If you want to know the proper width and way to roll out fondant, I'll put a link to my how to cover a cake with fondant video here. So now we're going to smooth it out and then trim the excess. So I'm using a ruler to make the lines of my board. You can use any sharp object, but I like the ruler because then I can measure out equal distance for my planks of my board. If you were doing this on a cake, you would want to put lines horizontally as well as vertically staggered, so it looks like an actual hardwood floor, but I know that a cake is going on top of this, so I don't bother. So now what I'm doing is I'm scraping out holes because you want to give the wood a distressed look, and then I'm going to take those holes and I'm going to do sort of like S patterns away from it just to show the wood it'll look like it's breaking. So just take your knife and don't think too much about it, just kind of slide it along the fondant. It'll give the distressed look all on its own. If you think too much about it, you don't want a pattern, you really just want it to look random and scraped up. And I'm just using this tool here to create a distressed look all over my wood. A fork will work, a knife. I'm using this because it allows me to do 3 scratches at once because this process can take a long time. So now that I've got those little scrapes in, I'm putting in some deeper scrapes with a very sharp knife. Again, don't think too much about it, just scrape away and you'll see when you start to paint it how beautiful those marks will look. So now I'm using black Americolor gel paste. The brand of the food coloring really doesn't matter. You can use whatever you like, just in those holes that you've created, throw some black in there just to give it a deeper look. So now I'm taking an espresso brown and I'm mixing it with vodka. This is going to be very dark and I'm just using it to outline the cracks of my board. Because again, we want some different colors in there. We want the cracks to be dark and we're going to want the board itself to be a little bit lighter. Now this board I'm creating is actually darker than ones I usually create. I wanted a really deep brown color. You don't have to go as dark as this. Really, you can create whatever you like with different food coloring mixtures. So now I'm taking that same color and I'm adding some yellow gel to it. Again, brand does not matter, just as long as it's a gel color, and mix it with the vodka. So if you wanted to go for a lighter board, I would dump out some of that espresso and mix it with the yellow to give it a more yellowy brown feel. But again, I wanted a very deep color. So now just take your vodka and brown gel color mixture and paint away. This is actually a really fun and beautiful process. And you can see where I've put the black in, how it makes those scratches and imperfections in the wood really come out. It looks really beautiful. So you want to be really liberal with the vodka and food coloring because you want it to seep into all those little cracks and scratches that you've painstakingly made in your fondant. And there it is. So now, just to give it a little bit of extra texture, what I like to do is once this has dried a tiny bit, not all the way, once it's a little bit tacky, I like to take my brush that's just a little bit damp and run it over the fondant, and this gives more of a distressed look, and it really brings out the woodiness of the pattern. And now we are putting the ribbon on the board. So I waited probably about 5 or 6 hours for everything to dry because I didn't want to accidentally touch it and take the paint off. So this is a nice dry board, and you can see those beautiful deep brown colors that I've painted. Again, if you want to go lighter, use less brown and more yellow, and that'll give you a beautiful yellowy brown look. So there it is. Very, very easy, very fun. You can do this on cake. I did this particular one on a board, but it's super easy to use. So that's that. Thank you all so much for watching. Please do like the video and subscribe. And please don't forget to comment if there's a video you'd like to see, if there's a technique you'd like to learn. And I'm including a tiny little clip of what this board was used for. It was a toilet paper cake, and if you'd like to see the creation of that cake, I will leave a link below. All the best and stay safe, everyone.